Hey guys, how's it going? It's your boy M.K.S here, back in another video. Hope everyone's well wherever you are, as ever. Staying safe and all that kind of thing, I suppose the main thing. Being healthy and happy, I suppose, and safe and that kind of thing. So yeah, I hope you're having a good time and have fun and stuff like that. And this video is a bit of fun and not to be taken too seriously, I suppose, although I do take football quite seriously. I was trying to think about how to organise. I wish I could organise both my paperworks, my writing and stuff like that on paper, and also like what I do online, and including my Facebook and YouTube videos. But trying to find a way to organise them. I know I start something and then move on to something else, and then by the time I get back to it, I do struggle to remember where I left off. So leaving a lot of unfinished work. But anyway, I hope you enjoy these videos, especially fans of footy, as I would call it. And yeah, I think that covers the intro. But yeah, it took me a while to think of the title to work on or to use for this video, but obviously I stuck with the title that I typed up. I'm hoping to make this one video before I go to sleep, and then maybe hopefully make some more after I've woken up, all being well. I probably should have a shave too. And here goes. But anyway, here goes. Here's some of my plans, mainly for the Italian national football team, but also for Italian football generally, and also for Celtic. So here goes. So number one, I'd love to go to Italy and share my ideas as, if you like, a special needs person, if you want to use that term. I know some people might not like that term. It probably sounds a bit harsh, but I want to turn it into a positive. Due to my alliterations, as it's September, I thought I'd say special needs, obviously, both begin with S. In November, I'll use the term neurodiverse a lot more, for sure. But yeah, I want to showcase a positive sort of thing. So I'd love to share this video and have it shared with as many special needs organisations, especially in Italy and those of Italian background, and that kind of thing. Showcase what we can do for Italian football and Celtic. Whatever ideas I apply for one could probably be replicated by the other. One of my fears is, like, as well as people not enjoying the video, I suppose that's the biggest fear, or these ideas not being implemented, put into action and whatnot, is also other people being able to copy these ideas. So I hope that English or German or Spanish or other such football teams won't be able to copy these ideas. But yeah, one of the things I'd love to do, for instance, as well as I'd love to go to Italy and as well as Celtic, like Glasgow Celtic, working with Italian football and Celtic in Italy and in Glasgow itself with my ideas, and also like wherever Italian football and Glasgow Celtic have bases all around the world as well. I'd love to work with Italian football and with Celtic, talk about my ideas and other special needs people, and sometimes to go with a group of special needs people, like people with dyslexia, ADHD and related conditions, as many of us as possible, and also like Anglo-Indian and other Eurasian groups. Sometimes it'll be just special needs people, sometimes it'll be just Anglo-Indians, and sometimes it'll be more generally Eurasian groups, or even somehow combining special needs and Eurasian people together to share our ideas. And also I'd love to connect politicians, parents, teachers, and the wider society, those involved in football already and those who could be involved in football, and get all possible Italians to be involved in football, as well as those from the diaspora, to sort of connect together, to share their ideas, as well as football fans like myself. I only support Italian football because I think I look Italian, but and I supported them since I was young, so it's sort of nostalgia. Anywho, moving on, number two, I'd love to see what Italian football can learn from like German football in terms of like the organisation, structure, and that kind of thing. Developing young players, developing good goalkeepers, defenders. I know Italian football already kind of does that. Develops good goalkeepers, arguably, and some of the best goalkeepers, some of the best defenders. What if it learned to build, or I think of the word I sometimes use. Can't think of it. Create, so to speak, or produce. That's what I knew it began with P. But yeah, I don't want to take the P. Just kidding. But sorry, my lame attempts of humour. Hope they don't go too much over people's head. But yeah, I'd love to see what Italian football basically could learn from German football in terms of organisation, being business-like, and what of it German football does badly and what of it does well, mistakes to avoid. And same with Spain. One of the beauties of Spain, in a way, with Italian football and Spain, is they're both Mediterranean nations. So I think there's a lot of things that if Spain does it, I'm sure Italy could replicate a lot of those ideas. Although I suppose maybe if Italy does well in those ideas, Spain could steal those ideas. I'm not too sure. But also France, which is another Mediterranean nation. I think France and Italy have so much in common, being Mediterranean republics, tricolor nations. As I say, Mr. T, Mediterranean Republic, tricolor nations, and also having a lot of culture and tradition in common, like art, food, cuisine, things like that. So I think it's a shame, in my opinion, that they don't get on well. I think it'd be great if they got on well, especially in football, if not in politics generally, through having those things in common. I love for Italian football and France to sort of practice together as well as maybe even like Ireland and other nations, especially Mediterranean nations though as well. Ireland with the tricolor sort of thing. And I suppose they do have a Catholic connection, although I'm not Catholic myself, as I often say. But yeah, so what they could learn also from, even what they could learn from English football, Brazilian football, Argentinian football, and football from all around the world, like mistakes to avoid, what different nations do well. Maybe even so-called lesser nations might have certain things that can be learned from. Also learning about how to fundraise, like definitely learning from the EPL, like what they do well, the English Premier League. That stands for for those who don't know. So yeah, develop like marketing, branding, and that kind of thing. That's more for club team level, but also what English and other football teams do to develop players. I'd love for Italy to have its own version of like La Masia, which was Barcelona's academy, or other coaching sort of things that Spain does well. Look at how they can utilize migrants to play football, just like France does, how France has developed many players from Africa, including Zidane, who's from Algeria, Mbappe, who's part Algerian and part Cameroonian, I think, and players like that. So also Brazil, how that's quite diverse. So hopefully Italians will see a beauty in diversity through both neurodiversity, special needs, and also racial, ethnic diversity, and hope that will improve relations and make Italian football, or even Italian society generally, less racist through football. Hopefully football can be used as a bridge to build communities, so like migrants can be welcomed through playing for the football teams and supporting the local football teams and the national team and things like that. And also hope to see how football can be used to discourage violence and crime and stuff like that, and how maybe Italian football can work with Italian football and Celtic could work with FIFA and UEFA and other football bodies, especially FIFA and UEFA, to look at how to cut out corruption and criminality generally in football and even in society generally, how football could be used to do that kind of thing, like as a reward for good behaviour. Young Italians as well, similar with Celts, could join the academy in terms of if they behave well at school and things like that, or just behave well generally, and avoid crime and things like that. Also footballers going into schools and things like that. I think I covered that point in enough detail. Number 3, I'd love to see as many Italians have free footballs as possible. I also hope videos like this, I hope one day I'll be able to make interesting content, interesting enough to get enough views so that I could fundraise to build those academies. And I think football money is quite important in football nowadays, so having more funds is really important. Number 4, again, I hope to look at how football can be used for good and things like that, and how Italian football and Celtic can improve just generally as well. And I'd love to read other people's comments and ideas, and maybe other people can make their own versions of these videos, but more coherent than me, that kind of thing. I hope people will share these videos with Italian fans and Celtic fans, or football fans generally, but especially Italian and Celtic fans, as ever. Number 5, I'd love to see Italy produce the next Messi, Ronaldo, Ronnie, as I call him, both the Brazilian version and the Portuguese version, Maradona, even Pele, George Best, and players like that. I hope Italy can produce those sorts of players. Even the next Manuel Neuer, how you pronounce his name, basically so Italy can learn from other nations. And I think trial and error is really important, so giving the youngsters the freedom to make mistakes. So especially midfielders and strikers, I think not so much goalkeepers and defenders, but if midfielders try a skill or strikers try a skill or both and they fail at times, the manager not to tell them off, the coaches and managers not to tell them off, but to say try a different trick, and just keep trying different tricks until they work, so they become like a field of tricks, so to speak, not just a one trick pony, so they can make lots of mistakes but learn from each mistake. Number 6, again, I'd love for all of Italian society, as well as those from the diaspora, to connect with Italian football, and Celtic to do similar with Celts perhaps, and other groups. Celtic to work with gypsies and travellers, as I think they have a similar history, given Celtic's history, and many gypsies have Irish blood anyway, but the fact they're travellers, and how Celtic had to migrate originally from Ireland and have it has Irish roots. Number 7, again, I hope that Italian football and Celtic strengthen their relationship as well. Number 8, as well as relationships with others. Again, I hope we can look at how football can be used for good and spread positivity, not negativity, love, not hate, and stuff like that. The number 8, as I often say, reminds me of positive, negative, and also hate, because it rhymes with hate. But I love to turn it to positive, to love, because because I don't want to hate anyone or anything. So I love to turn it into a positive sort of thing. So love instead of hate. Love, not hate, as they say. But unfortunately, I know Italian football does have a problem with racism, prejudice, hooliganism, and things like that. And I hope somehow that can change, and also Italian football can become more attacking while still having a good defence. Number 9, again, producing some of the best players. I think it's important to let them practice for as many hours as possible a day, to give them so many opportunities to have like space and places for sport, in this case football, for Italian football and Celtic. I hope that will benefit Italian football itself, especially the national team, also club teams almost as much, and also Celtic, by producing great young players and things like that, and having 5 to 10 year plans. I'm sure there's a point I was going to make, but I can't quite remember. Again, I hope Italian football and Celtic will look at what they can learn and how they can work on goals together, like helping Italy become the most successful team it can be at both club and country level, and Celtic to become the most successful it can be as well. And number 10, again, trial and error for the youth, and having as many spaces and places for sport, in this case football, and as possible, like fundraising to build football pitches and give people as many opportunities. I also hope, especially at youth level, that Italian football and Celtic will practice together. Another thing is, I would love for fans of Italian football, or even Italian society generally, to donate 10% of their wealth or equity or assets, even perhaps, or money, or at least salary or wages or revenue or profits, even in case of businesses, or even the Italian government, for instance, to invest 10%. But yeah, all possible Italians to invest 10% of whatever their wealth or profits, or whatever they feel comfortable investing, as much as they can. And yeah, companies can do that as part of their PR, even companies that go and invest, that want to operate in Italy, and maybe even if they're international companies, hopefully in return for having better PR, hopefully they'll invest in academies, spaces and places for sport. Again, I hope Italian football can learn from what English football does well, which is like have spaces and places for sport. Banks and businesses invest in communities and like football development. McDonald's has like football in the community and things like that. So I hope, and that kind of thing. So I hope that all those sorts of companies, people who own Lucasade, the people who own all these different companies and that kind of thing generally, and even companies who own like games companies or Monopoly, or even tech companies, or all sorts of different companies sponsoring football pitches and that kind of thing, obviously for both Italian football and Celtic. And yeah, that, I think that'd be pretty cool. I'm sure there's always something I forget, but yeah, I think it'd be cool if they invested 10% or donated 10% into football development, like including Italian companies, individuals, politicians, investing 10% of the budget and things like that. And similar for Celtic, as I say, of course, fans donating to the club and things like that, or at least having shares in the club. Anyway, I'm going to stop baffling and I'm out. Peace and love.